Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen will leave office in just 2 weeks.
Today, he sat down with political reporter Jessica Arp, and we find out whether he'll run for Supreme Court and the future of cases still being handled in his office.
How are you feeling about leaving now?
You know, I feel good about it. I've spent 22 years in public service now, certainly a career's worth for anybody.
Coming to the end of 8 years in office, Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen says you won't see his name on the ticket in a Supreme Court race this spring.
You won't see me in that race. This is an opportunity for me, I think, to get out of the public eye and get out of political life for a little while at least.
He won't count out running for office again at some point, although he won't say for what. But Van Hollen says he was able to accomplish a main tenet of the platform he originally ran on.
One was to restore integrity to the rule of law, to have a Department of Justice who was a law firm who would defend the laws of the state of Wisconsin and give good, objective legal advice despite the public policy or the politics behind it.
Did you expect you were going to have to defend so many laws?
You know, the last 4 years was certainly a bit of a surprise. People certainly have the right to have their day in court, but I found certainly a different approach to fighting against public policy changes during the second term than I did during the first term. It did surprise me a little bit, but it's something that we were willing to tackle.
And tackle they did, his office arguing cases before state and federal courts on Act 10, same-sex marriage, and voter ID.
Voter ID was difficult to defend. Ultimately, we prevailed on every front. And even though there's still I guess you would call a little hanging chad out there at the federal level, I think most anybody would tell you that case is done. Voter ID is here to stay.
What do you think that final chapter is going to be on voter ID? I mean, it sort of sits with the Supreme Court. They made the call that they made in October, and it's unclear essentially what they may do next.
I think they're going to do one of two things, and I think based upon things they've done and based upon the rulings at the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, I think it's clear they're either going to decline to take the case at all because they agree with what the Seventh Circuit did, or if they want to tweak it at all, they're going to take it and then they're going to confirm what the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals did. I would be astounded if they overruled voter ID.
At the Capitol, Jessica Arp, WISC News 3.